The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pesky Report. This is episode 216. I'm Brandon, and joining me today, we got Weetzo and Hogdale. What's up, guys? How are we doing?
All right. Yeah. Happy because the Red Sox haven't lost all spring. So
Yeah, fantastic. The Red Sox are undefeated in spring training. I think it's officially time to say we're going streaking, boys. This is a pretty epic winning streak, or undefeated streak, I guess you would call it, for the Red Sox right now. So pretty excited about that. Hogdale, how are we doing there in Iowa?
Dude, straight booling on a Sunday. I went down, to my best friend's place to go watch the UFC fights last night. Hell of a card if you saw it. Like, holy shit. Like, insane night of fights. We're even watching some baseball on the side. It's crazy.
It is crazy, yeah. Well, speaking of that UFC, and it's cool that we got Weetzo here because he's from Mexico City. Mexico is trying to take every single UFC championship right now. It's ridiculous.
yeah, it was a good night for Mexico.
Yeah, for sure.
I had money on Shevchenko, fucking asshole.
And John Jones making his triumphant return to the UFC and
he owned.
Dominating the heavyweight division.
It wasn't even literally last like 2.5 minutes. That was nuts.
Yeah. We'll see what Stipe Miocic has for him coming up next. This is, and you mentioned a little bit of baseball on the side. Spring training baseball is still going on, and we're very amped to get to the regular season. But we do need to kind of shift gears and put on our medical hats for a little bit. And, we do follow some pretty notable doctors on Twitter, and we get our updates from them. But according to the National Health Service of England, a grade 1 hamstring strain is a mild muscle pull or a strain. So that doesn't sound like it's anything too terrible. While a grade 2 and a grade 3 hamstring injury can be a partial or complete muscle tear, which has a much longer expected recovery time. For a grade 1, we're talking about a few days to about 3 weeks. So that being said, the Red Sox have had a rash of injuries early on in spring now, with James Paxton leaving the mound after 5 outs. So in 1 2/3 innings, he left the game, had a little bit of a cramp in his hamstring, left the game diagnosed with a grade 1 hamstring strain. And Connor Wong has suffered a setback with his hamstring injury as well. So what do you guys think about this? Is this anything that's really cause for concern? Or do you think this is just, it's to be expected? It's early in spring training. These guys have been not really pushing their bodies to the limits for the past few months, and now they're just trying to get back into the swing of things, and they've hit a little hiccup.
Well,
Yeah, no, go ahead, man.
Sorry, no, you first.
What? This is the kindest podcast I've ever been on. It's like,
it really is.
So what? You go first.
It is.
Yeah.
When Ed's here, he's like, "Yep, I'm taking this question. Shut up, I'm talking."
Yeah, dude. Ed's always just like bullying me, man. He's just like, "Fucking, you shut the fuck up. This is my question. This is my time to shine." And this is just the side of Ed Hand that y'all don't get to see. We edit this out. He really just a tyrant ruling over the Pesky Report podcast. You just never see this. Anyway, back to the actual question at hand. It's whatever. I mean, it's like you said, it's a few weeks into spring training. I mean, fucking whatever. They should be fine. I get like it's like we're Red Sox fans, and like anytime the minorest inconvenience happens, everyone flips the fuck out because no one in this fan base has a single ounce of chill. But it should be fine. They'll be fine. They have depth. What, we're worried about our catcher depth? Like fucking, even if we went down to like Ronaldo Hernandez, he's not a terrible option, and let alone Alfaro and Reese McGuire, who are both fine. Like we have plenty of depth. I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah, I'm with Hogdale. I don't think it's really an issue. Like, Crawford has been pitching well this spring. I think he can fill a rotation spot like a couple of weeks, and then we'll be fine. I think I don't mind losing a couple of weeks of Paxton or Whitlock if they come fully healthy in mid-April. It's fine. And like Hogdale say, I think Jorge Alfaro has been really good. I think, in fact, I think they are considering him for a roster spot even with one healthy. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people making a lot out of nothing.
I tend to agree with both of you that it's Boston media. We're going to try to make an issue out of a non-issue thing. But that's a great point, Wito, about Jorge Alfaro, Aquaman. This dude has been playing very good ball going back to the Winter League, where he was just mashing homers left and right. And I was doing a little bit of research on him, and his contract with the Red Sox is a little bit interesting in that he has an upward mobility clause in his contract. So what that basically means is that the Red Sox have until March 25th. So at the time of this recording, about 20 days, 3 weeks or so, to determine if he's going to be on the 40-man roster, and most likely on the 26-man roster, because even if he's on the 40-man, if he gets optioned to AAA, he could still choose to leave and go somewhere else that would offer him a big league spot. So essentially March 25th is going to be the D-Day for the Red Sox to decide if he's going to be on the 26-man or not. And he's having a pretty good spring. And with Connor Wong missing some time and not really, getting the playing time right now, they might put him on a slow track. Connor Wong could start the season in AAA and actually benefit from it by getting more reps every single day. And then whenever he's ready to come back up to Boston, he would be more in the groove. I think with young players, sometimes putting them in these platoon positions is actually detrimental to them because they're not getting those everyday reps. So somebody like Connor Wong could benefit from being injured so early in spring training.
See, I don't know if I completely agree with that kind of mindset, though. Connor Wong is 26. He's 26. Sure. He is still young-ish. I mean, catchers can take a bit longer to develop. At the same time, though, I've never, since like he got his first cup of coffee almost 2 seasons ago, thought that he wasn't up to the task or like he looked overwhelmed. I really think this guy can be, an everyday kind of platoon catcher for you. I really didn't mind at all going into the season with him being your backup catcher option, or even if he like stepped up and was the starter. I mean, if they think Alfaro ends up being better, then yeah, go with him. And like you said, he has that upward mobility clause. If they think it's the value's just about the same, then yeah, retain him because Wong has options. Just send him down. But I think he's ready. I like Connor Wong quite a bit from what I've seen of him.
I think when it comes to like if we're looking at Wong and Alfaro specifically, and we're not factoring Reese McGuire into this equation at all, I think I prefer Alfaro just because he offers a lot more pop. The defense, I get. Yeah. Wong is a better defensive catcher, but as Hogdale likes to point out, defense is for nerds. No one cares about that.
Objectively true. Also, his flow is immaculate.
The flow, yeah. That hair flip gif is amazing.
I mean, anytime like the camera's on him for an extended period of time, I got to go change my pants. Like it's
for sure.
It's really tough, being a fan of this team sometimes. Just the amount of handsome dudes on this team.
Very sexy team. Yeah, I think in an ideal scenario, I like Alfaro like DHing on or in first, like platooning. But if I had to pick between Wong and Alfaro right now, I pick Alfaro too.
So with that being said, sticking with the catcher issue, say Carter Wong does have a bit of a hiccup coming back from this hamstring injury, and he is going to start the season in AAA or on the IL. Do the Red Sox need to sign another catcher right now, or are you confident with McGuire, Alfaro, and then the minor league depth of what's his name?
Ronaldo Hernandez.
Ronaldo Hernandez. I was thinking Renandez, but that I knew that wasn't right.
The combo. Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I really think their depth's more than good enough because, I mean, it's a grade 1 strain. He's not going to be out for super long. And plus, I mean, Ronaldo Hernandez, at least defensively, seems like he'd be up to snuff. I mean, just to cover for a week or two. I mean, I don't think you need to go out and sign another guy.
I know we've seen a lot of people, even some within our own group, that are really, really petitioning for Gary Sanchez to be signed by the Boston Red Sox. Bring him in, and
hey, I don't hate that.
I can't get behind it, man. I really can't. I know Brady has been championing the idea of Gary Sanchez being the guy that the Red Sox need to sign, and I cannot get behind it. This is a guy that, yeah, he has pop when he actually makes contact, but do we really want another guy that has the same prowess as a Bobby Dahlbeck, a mid-season Bobby Dahlbeck that's just striking out 3 out of 4 times? I can't get behind it.
The idea of Gary Sanchez being on the Red Sox, refinding what made him great, and then like shitting on the Yankees like multiple times a season brings me so much theoretical joy in my brain. So for that reason alone, I wouldn't hate it. But he's fine. Right as of right now, he's a fine player. A lot of people like still are kind of caught back up into like the 4 years ago mindset that his defense is terrible. It's really not. He's vastly improved on the defensive end. Problem is that came at a cost of he can't hit nearly as well as he used to anymore. So now he's like a slightly above average defender and a pretty mediocre to bad hitter, which is a bit unfortunate. But I mean, if you want to bring him in, if the Red Sox front office like saw the untapped potential, wanted to bring him in, fine, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I just can't get on board with it. How do you feel about El Gary, Huitzo?
I'm kind of in the middle. I don't see any need for him in the team, but the moonshots he used to laser over the monster were so pretty. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that like every 4 weeks.
Now, the one caveat that I would say is if he was a lefty, maybe, because you already have a right-handed thumper with Alfaro. You don't need to bring in another righty pull-hitting catcher that is going to strike out a lot.
No, Galaxy bring him in, play him at like DH, and have Turner play second. There you go. Now we've solved the too many lefties in the lineup problem. Wake up, people. Open your third eye.
Just force these guys to play positions that are unnatural.
We do have a comment.
We do have a comment about people playing out of position a little bit, and what are our thoughts about rolling with 3 catchers? So say Wong is able to come back and he's healthy, ready to go for opening day. What are our thoughts about rolling with Wong, McGuire, and Aquaman, with Wong and Aquaman's ability to play multiple infield positions, DH, first base, etc.?
I am fine with that. Yeah, because from what I've known from Connor Wong in the minors, he is a super utility guy. He can play. I'm pretty sure he can play a little bit of second. I know he can play first a little bit. And why not? I mean, if you don't see a better bench option, like if you think those are the best bench options for like a depth infielder, then why not? Now, if you wanted carry an extra outfielder instead, you don't want to go the Tapia route or go the losing my brain with all the other players on this team, like a Hamilton or, a lot of those other guys that we've talked about. I completely get it, but I don't completely despise it.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. I think my only like complaint is that I really hope to be seeing Casas and Devers like every day. So yeah, I think how much first base could they play? Wong or Alfaro, and I really like Turner at the age. So they be playing very sporadically, I believe.
and Turner has also been getting reps at first base as well.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's another guy that can give Cassis a day off. He can give Rafi a day off. So I don't think that that's really a make or break thing for me. I think for me, I would rather have the additional flexibility with outfielders and speed to run the bases. But if that's the way they go, I do really like Aquaman's pop.
Yeah.
Definitely get that.
We talked a little bit about Paxton, but he's not the only pitcher that is maybe not going to be ready for the opening day series. In fact, I believe 3/5 of our projected starting rotation might not be available to start the regular season. How big of a deal is that? Is this a big deal, Hogdale?
For most Major League Baseball teams, if you said going into the first game of the season that 3/5 of your starting rotation is out, you'd be hitting the panic button. For the Red Sox this year, it's not. It's not even a little, because this Red Sox rotation, as some people, like, if you were paying attention going into the season, is 7 or 8 deep. So, like, right now, I think off the top of my head, the starting rotation would be Sale, Kluber. So you have Sale, Kluber. You've got Pavetta,
Paxton.
obviously.
Yeah.
Well, if Paxton misses,
Oh, if he misses, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about the guys we still have. And then you get like the minor league options like Winkowski, who we know can start at least a few games. And same with Cutter Crawford, who was promising at times last year. And again, these are not long-term injuries. Like, we're talking worst case scenario, they miss like 2 or 3 weeks at the start of the season. And I seriously doubt that'll even happen. I bet most of them will miss like a week or a start, if that. So you got 5 guys there that can make major league starts. We saw them make major league starts. They have the potential. There's really nothing to panic about. And like past that, the bullpen's still really good. It's still really, really good. I didn't even mention Tanner Houck.
Yeah.
I think that's the important thing of what you just said. We have the ability right now to pull from the minor league system quality starters, guys that can go out there and give a quality start. And you're not going to sacrifice a bullpen game, which is going to make your bullpen weak for the next few games as guys are trying to get recovered and healed up from that and all that stuff, which ultimately is going to lead to the bullpen running out of energy come June or July if you're relying on these bullpen games all the time. So I think that's great that we do have the depth and the flexibility there. But I do think there is a little bit of cause for concern just because guys like Paxton have a proven track record of being injured. And, Sale, he's been great in his career, but here lately we haven't really seen his greatness. We really haven't even gotten a full effect of how he's going to look after his Tommy John surgery, because he only lasted for such a short time after that before the next freak injury happened. So can he come back and be serviceable? Like, we have a lot of questions with the guys that are even healthy. So, and then with Bayo's injury, or not injury, but his tightness in his elbow, soreness, minor setback, but could it eventually become a bigger problem if it's untreated? Could it be something like with Trevor Story, where it's a nagging injury that eventually he has to go under the knife to get it fixed? Like, these are questions that I think are fair to consider. I'm not ready to slap the panic button yet, but I do see how some people could be tiptoeing that line, because if one thing goes wrong, then all of a sudden it could avalanche.
I feel like some people over obsess over the Red Sox rotation sometimes, though, because when the Red Sox went to the ALCS 2 years ago, their number one pitcher was Nathan Eovaldi. He was your number one.
Yeah.
And that bullpen was not nearly as good as the one is this year. And I just really, the Red Sox, I've said this for years, they're always built on the offense. And I feel like the offense this year is going to more than make up for any deficiencies. Like, more than make up. People are severely overrating the loss of Xander Bogaerts. Severely. He could not hit for power last year, guys. He could not at all. This man could not slug.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm worried in the Paxton situation, because I think, knowing his history, it can snowball into other stuff. But with Bello, with Whitlock, I'm not that worried. I really think, like, Hawk, they'll be missing maybe 2 weeks and they'll be back. And in the meantime, we only need like 5 guys who can give us 6 innings per game, which I think the rotation as it is can give us that. I'm a firmly believer of the Chris Sale resurgence. I think he'll be healthy. I think he'll be pitching at least 20 starts this year. So yeah. And in the others, I think Kluber is very serviceable. I think the same Pivetta. I think Hawk can take a couple of stars without problem. He has the ability to do so. So yeah, I also have faith in the rotation. I hope it doesn't start going off the rails. So
That's the thing, though, is like debatably, with how good the bullpen is this year, you really don't need to get 6 innings. Just get to 5. If you could just get to 5 on a regular basis, pass it off to like these 5, like they got like 5 or 6 like genuinely quality arms that you can go to and like trust and rely upon, and they can take you to that promised land. And maybe to save them every once in a while, you need a Nick Pivetta to pull 7 innings out of his ass, which he does like semi-regularly, or you need a Chris Sale to do it this year if he can, or Kluber. Kluber did that. He 8 innings amazingly well last year for, who was he, with Tampa? Did a great job eating innings.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't want to see early on, though, is a lot of short starts by the starters. Yeah,
don't like Matt Barnes the bullpen.
Last year, when Rick Hill was averaging like 4 innings every start or whatever, and then you would have the bullpen the rest of the way, that we saw was very taxing later on. And as good as this bullpen is, like, there are some quality arms with Shriver and Chris Walker, Chris Martin, Kenley Jansen. You have some solid arms back there, and then you got Brazier, who, I mean, I guess you could throw him in for blowouts, but
yes.
I mean, but the big question that I have with the bullpen even is, who's going to be the guy that can go out there and get multiple innings? Will that be a Houck? Would Houck be that guy that you want to go out there and say, hey, we need 3 out of you today because the starter got shelled in the 3rd? Can he get you to that 6th?
As of right now, it probably would be Houck.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they slide him into the starting rotation, like we said earlier, for while some of these guys are out, which who knows? There's just so many options that the Red Sox could go with in terms of like what their actual plan is, that it's a bit hard to predict. But I think Houck more than can fulfill the Garrett Whitlock of 2 years ago role of just piggybacking off these starters who have a bad game.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on from the kind of depressing things like injuries and if the rotation's going to hold together, and focus on some of the good news that's come out of the spring training, and that is that the Red Sox are still undefeated. They have a record of 6-0-3 which is the longest spring undefeated streak for the Boston Red Sox since 2018. And we all know what happened in 2018. Pretty good things came of that season. And tomorrow's a sale day.
Tomorrow's a selling.
Oh, God, it's just beautiful. It's all going to come together. The vibes have just been so good this spring. They've just been so good.
The vibes have been incredible. And I think guys like Kike Hernandez and even Verdugo. Verdugo's contributed to vibes in a major way. Like with the World Baseball Classic and all that stuff coming up, Verdugo brought the mariachi band in, and they had a real fun, like, I guess, presentation on Mexico for their part of the World Baseball Classic culture and stuff. And I think that's just awesome that Cora's kind of letting them be themselves early on in spring and letting these big leaguers kind of assume leadership roles in their own unique ways.
Yeah, so I love that they're doing that. Not shitting on the younger players for being a bit different, like some other team that will not go mentioned here, for they're a bunch of piss baby cowards. But we move away from them. And yeah, Verdugo. I called him last time. Man, the dude's the vibe composer of the Boston Red Sox. This man composes the vibe, and he's just setting a pace of it, man. I'm so ready for this Alex Verdugo breakout. He's gonna be so good this year. That now that like the shift has been limited, even though it's not completely gone, as we saw in the game not long ago. If you really can't hit to left field, I mean, then it's not really Joey Gallo fucking crying. He's like, no, I thought it was over. Fuck. The nightmare continues.
Yeah, the new shift is definitely interesting, but I gotta wonder, like, what could this possibly bring to the game if teams are going to start utilizing this? Guys like Rafael Devers is just going to laugh at you because he'll smoke a ball to the gaps, and he'll have more triples this season than he's had in his entire career.
And that's the thing. That's why this newer version of the shift, I don't mind it at all, because you're taking a much, much bigger risk.
Huge gamble. Yeah.
Like, if the ball is hit to left field, it's an automatic triple. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and we have guys like Devers, like Yoshida, that we know they can go opposite, even Verdugo, if they want to.
I don't think that this will be a shift for everyone, like how the other shift became. I think this is going to be one of those things like only certain players.
It's for the most extreme circumstance.
Somebody like a Joey Gallo, who if you had a gun to his head and told him to hit the ball to the opposite field, he would not do it. He is purely incapable of hitting to the opposite field. So of course you're gonna shift that over, and why not? So, but I do think some guys are going to get a lot more respect, and they're not going to even attempt that because of the fact, like somebody like a Devers, or there are players on every team really that you could look at and just be like, yep, you're not going to do that for that guy, because he would smoke you and end up on third, and you would stand there looking retarded.
Yeah,
dude, Rafi's going to go nuts this year. We've seen it already with a few instances of like balls that he'd hit that before in the shift would just be gobbled up. It was so frustrating the last few years too, because Rafi more than often than not is murdering these baseballs, like line drive into right field. And oh, cool, the fucking third baseman standing over there. Cool, thanks.
Yeah, like when balls are just like trickled to the second baseman, it's like, okay, shift or no shift, that's an out. But whenever you murder a ball and it's 112 off the bat, and it's between the first and second baseman, but like you said, it goes to the third baseman who's just standing in shallow right field. It's like, okay, that sucks.
It's like you're playing MLB The Show, and like you hit the perfect, and it's like a fucking out on the warning track. Like, motherfucker! God damn it! Why do I play this bullshit game? So that's real life for these players. It's such a tragedy, bro. Such a tragedy.
But this year, to your point, we've already seen in spring trading that Rafi's got 2 or 3 singles just right to that sweet spot. And I think that's going to continue all season long. I'll go out on a limb and say that he hits 360 this year.
Let's go. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Let's see. Another piece of good news that we did get from this week is Baseball America has officially put out their rankings for MLB farm teams, and the Boston Red Sox were 10th.
No,
but I thought we saw reports not long ago that the Red Sox were like 26th.
Like, bottom third of the league. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought the farm was terrible. What happened?
They stink. Don't have any pitchers. They can't. They have no depth.
But somehow Baseball America ranks the Sox farm system as 10th in baseball. So
are you trying to say that Baseball America is a most reputable source than Keith Lowe?
Oh, maybe that's what we're alluding to here.
Yeah, just for clarity, a peek behind the curtain. I actually put this in the our conversation before the show of like stuff we were going to talk about. I actually put in brackets "suck my ass, Keith Law" when I put that in. I don't really mean that. Keith he's one dude. It's his one opinion. He's allowed to think whatever he wants. But it's just like for us who's taking his word as gospel. The Red Sox have a really good farm system. I mean, I'm pretty sure anyone that are not Keith Law could have told you that. I got nothing against him though. I mean, he's a reputable guy. He's been in the industry for a very long time. I just think he's wrong.
Yeah, and very wrong. I don't see like a lot of what Ed has said on Twitter. Like, how can you put them below like 15? Like the farm has been rebuilding, and
just for the guys, like by themselves, like they have some of the most high-end premium guys in the league. And I think he rated them like what 26th. Like, come on, man! Like Marcelo Meyer, like is a consensus. Everyone agrees like this dude's probably going to be an all-star.
Yeah.
You got Marcelo Meyer, you've got Cedon Rafaela, you've got just talent everywhere. Like these are guys that are drawing comparisons to like current big leaguers and former MVPs with the amount of talent that they have.
Like,
will they get to
Miguel
that point?
Miguel Blay, though, like really? The bottom third of the league farm system. Come on, Keith.
Get out of here.
Come on, man.
Somebody's a Yankees fan. That's all there is to it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's insane. But Baseball America
and
has the Red Sox.
Also, Tristan
farm
Casas is still a prospect, isn't he?
Technically,
Yeah,
he is still a prospect. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And Tristan Casas is about to be the third ever Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season.
Yeah.
And a Gold Globe.
Yes. Platinum, actually. I'm willing to go on that ledge.
Yeah.
Dude,
I believe it.
Is going to be so
What was amazing to witness was all the people that were talking trash after the Kid Lowe's ranking went silent.
You couldn't find them. They're on the milk carton. Like, where are they? Huh?
That's the way it usually is in Boston media. Whenever it's something negative about the Sox, they're the absolute loudest people on the planet. But when something positive about the Red Sox comes out, you can't find anybody willing to talk about it.
Gotta love Boston media. Thank God that Lou Merlone is out of that fucking shitscape and he just like love the Sox and like, be honest. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. Guys, I'm seeing a tweet from Pete Abraham right now that
Petey boy
Wilyer Abreu has a left hamstring strain. So that's another hamstring injury for the Boston Red Sox. And Cora says he'll be out for a while. So that indicates that this one's probably more severe than just the grade 1. Flipping back to our medical journal that we looked at earlier, grade 2 tends to be a partial tear, and the recovery time for that is about 3 to 8 weeks. Grade 3 is a complete tear, and that could be a much longer recovery. So hopefully Abreu is able to be at least in that middle category, only miss a maximum of about 2 months, and then be able to get back into the groove once the minor league season is kicked off. But that sucks. That's a big blow. Wilyer Abreu was one of the guys, along with Valdez, that was brought over from the Houston Astros in the Christian Vazquez trade last year. So he's contributed to the spring training streak that we're on, and definitely hope that he's able to recover. Somebody needs to fire the coach that's in charge of stretching hamstrings, apparently.
Yeah, it's just a bad deal right now. The hamstrings are being taken.
Funny, interesting story. It's Hein Bloom.
Hein Bloom's taking him out.
Dude, I thought he had diverted his attention to the other team, but I guess it's fucking. He had to come back for one last go around on his own roster.
Yeah.
What a bully! What an absolute bully that guy
almost as big
into.
A bully as Ed Hand. Like, man, I mean, it's when it comes like the bully tier list, S tier. I mean, Ed and Hein Bloom are just fighting it out up there.
Man, ridiculous. Something else that's exciting, and it's something that we are all part of, Ed included, and it's the first ever Pesky Report Fantasy Baseball League. And we are set to draft our teams this coming week, this coming Wednesday, actually. And I'm sure this is going to be a topic of conversation every Sunday on the Pesky Report, since all of us are going to be in this league. We're all associated with the league. I think only Doink from the weekday shows is in the group. Is Brady in it as well? I can't remember.
He's probably busy being like, having major dad energy and rooting for the Rangers and shit. I can't remember if he's in it or not.
I can't remember.
Brady is in the fantasy league.
He isn't. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if he wasn't.
I do love that man, though. I gotta say though, I mean, I'm very looking forward to this league because I'm gonna run this shit. I'm really good at fantasy sports. Last year was an absolute tragedy for the fantasy league I was in. My starting rotation was McClanahan, Verlander, Wheeler as my 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Come playoff time, all three of them got hurt. I was fucking shook. I was unbelievably shook. And I lost my league because of it.
Correction, Brady is in the league. I just looked. He is in the league. So the only one from the weekday show that isn't in the league is Brad. And he said that he just didn't want to be because
Brad's
he's
busy.
got other stuff going on.
He's got shit to do.
So, but it is going to be a topic of conversation, and Hogdale thinks that he's going to run this league, but what he doesn't know,
bro, living up to my brand,
is I'm going to actually run this league, and I've been doing some mock drafts over here, and I'm getting myself prepared for draft day. I don't know who I'm actually going to take yet because Ed hasn't given us our positions where we're going to be drafting.
You're going to be absolutely shook when I take Tristan Cass's #1 overall. You're going to ruin all your mock drafts. You'll be completely confused.
That would ruin a lot of things for me, actually. So. And that's another thing that will be interesting going forward in this league is it's a what are we calling a keeper league or a dynasty league or whatever? Like we're basically going to draft our team that we're going to have for the foreseeable future. So drafting guys that are upwards in their MLB careers, like somebody like a Mike Trout, might not be the most ideal draft pick early on because he's older, maybe doesn't have as long to play. So getting somebody that's a little bit younger may be more advantageous long term. I don't know. Am I looking too much into this? Maybe. Who knows?
I'm really good at drafting young guys, I'll tell you that. My fantasy league last year, I got Bobby Witt Jr. and fucking Jeremy Pena as my shortstops because I missed out on all the good ones. I thought at the time, I'm like, okay, I'll go young upside. Look at that. I'm a scout.
Yeah, it worked out for you. I'm drafting kickers. That's all I'm drafting.
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Let's that's kind of all the Red Sox news that I have on this episode, but I do want to kind of hit some notes from around the rest of Major League Baseball because there has been some stuff that has happened in Major League Baseball that I feel like we should talk about. Most notably, Mike Clevenger's ruling that he will not face any sort of suspension. You guys have any thoughts or opinions about that?
It's bullshit.
Yes. The greatest superpower you can have in the United States of America is money. So if you really view my uncle taught me this as a person who got caught drunk driving a lot. Never once got a conviction because if you keep throwing money at it, it will go away.
Yeah.
It's sadly it's how things work. It's the country we live in.
It sucks because it seemed like there was going to be so much evidence and so much testimony that could lead to this guy just never throwing a pitch in Major League Baseball again. We seem to have a clear pattern of this guy just being an absolute dirtbag. But
makes sense that he's him and Trevor Bauer are great friends. It does add up. The math is math.
That does check out. But man, Clevenger's not going to face any kind of suspensions. He's not going to face any kind of disciplinary action on the field or off the field. And presumably he'll be allowed to pitch for the Chicago White Sox this season.
Yeah, it sucks.
Not the first time a really objectively bad person has played in the game of baseball, but it doesn't make it any less unfortunate. The Red Sox are also not the only team that's experienced any kind of injury concerns. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was diagnosed with a minor knee inflammation and is not going to be able to participate in the World Baseball Classic. Does anybody know his status and if he's going to be ready to start the season, or is this going to be something that's going to set him back?
I don't really know.
I'm not sure. I don't think there is enough information out yet. Although, if you look at the Dominican World Baseball Classic lineup, they'll be fine. They still have fucking a lineup with Juan Soto and any other if you look at the top 20 best hitters in the league, I think they have 6 of them in that lineup.
Yeah, how crazy is it that the Boston Red Sox have one player listed in the MLB top 100 list, and the Dominican Republic team has 8?
Yeah,
that is insane. And Raffy's one of them.
And Raffy's one of them. One of them overlaps.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Let's see. According to Ben Nicholson Smith, Vlad Guerrero Jr. said that his right knee's already feeling better, but he still wants to be patient, and the priority was the Blue Jays, so he withdrew from the World Baseball Classic. So maybe it's not going to be anything that impacts the regular season.
Just don't want to risk anything. Yeah,
don't want to risk it, but
listen,
definitely something to keep an eye on.
It's a big strain on his legs, keeping that gigantic dump truck of an ass, standing. It's tough on his knees, bro. They're screaming out that.
I can imagine. It is a wagon. Brad Hand, much to the chagrin of our podcast and one podcaster in particular, Mr. Ed Hand, signed with the Colorado Rockies for a pretty team-friendly deal, if we're being honest. Makes you think that the Red Sox could have made a move, but they didn't for some reason. I like Brad Hand. I did want him on the Red Sox at one point in time. He has aged quite a bit since then, so it's unfair to say that he would still be a key component in the bullpen. But do you think he'll have a decent season out in Colorado?
I hate the Rockies and everything that they stand for. So I could give a fuck less if he has a good season or a bad season for him. They are just they're just everything wrong with Major League Baseball. Just fucking, they do nothing to actually try to win. They feign at being competitive. They pretend like they're going to give out the big contract and pay money, but then a third or halfway through it, they'll trade that player. If anyone actually thinks that Chris Bryant is going to be a Rocky throughout the entirety of that contract, is living in a fucking fantasy land. They're a joke organization. I despise everything about them, and I hope them nothing but failure and suffering.
I don't hate him that much. I think
They have a nice ballpark. It's pretty.
I think
Good
they're
fans
fine.
too.
I had a player in Road to the Show that started with the Rockies, so I don't hate him. I think they're fine. I think Brad Hand will be good. I don't know what his fly out rate is right now, which is like
Hopefully it
the
gets
important thing in Colorado, but I think he can be very decent. I would have minded to have him on the Red Sox.
I think I would have preferred it like 2 or 3 years ago. Now I'm not so sure.
The only problem is the Yankees absolutely own him. Like they shit
that's
on
true.
him in every meeting. So I would want him
true.
off the roster as soon as the Yankees series came up.
Yeah, it's like you're just gonna sit out this series. Just go golf for a while or something. Like
go
you'll still get
you're
paid. Just don't be here.
Go pretend you're Tanner Houck against the Blue Jays last year and go on a fishing trip. You know, it's what we do here.
You have to have the vaccine to play the Yankees, and that vaccine does not exist for you, Brad Hand.
Right. Luckily, that's not a thing this year. So I think that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much done at this point. But
yeah, COVID's not real. It fucking died.
You guys got anything else you want to add to the show today, or are we good?
Oh no.
I think
only thing. Oh, go ahead, dude. Silence. Let's go. I was going to say to everyone who listens to the show, like I feel like I don't say it enough. Like I genuinely appreciate every single person who listens to the show, and I really want to encourage, like, you know, any of y'all who listen, just interact with us on Twitter. You know, man, just shoot the shit with us. Fucking tell us that our shit. I appreciate it if you did. Merch, support us. You know, we appreciate you.
I think Hogdale does get quite a bit of interaction from people on Twitter, basically because he's become a bit of an enigma, and people really want to see him play second base for the Boston Red Sox this season.
The people have spoken. Unfortunately, the Red Sox are cowards. They aren't ready for the level of ability and talent that I can bring to this organization.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. One day they'll wake up and realize the error of their ways. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you sometime in midweek whenever the other crew is on here talking about, I guess, whatever's happened between now and then. See y'all later.
Deuces.